Good morning. Wanted to make a video demolding some of the projects that we made yesterday. We are getting ready for Christmas and we have some Christmas colors. First off is a Christmas tree. I've made this once before and it didn't turn out quite like I'd hoped, so I'm hoping this second time is better than the first. I think that it will be because I worked really hard to take care of those bubbles. They get trapped here in this area here. And this is a 3-tiered Christmas tree. And those bubbles get trapped there so easily. All right. Take a look at that. We went through and did the star first and cured that up, and then came back with the green. There's a few bubbles here, but not the giant crevices that there were last time, so that's good. I'll call that a win. Okay, here is the second tier. Okay. Okay. Underneath of this one looks very nice. Very, very minimal bubbles. We just put that right on there. All right. And if you can tell, this will just fit right in there. It's funny for being something that is that turns out to be only about 6 or 7 inches tall. It uses an awful lot of resin. Alrighty, here is our final piece. There's a couple of bubbles here. Most of the time when there is minimal bubbles like that, I will go through and try to fix that with a little bit of UV resin. Very, very pretty Christmas tree color. All right. Next green we have 4.5, 5 ounces of leftover resin after making that Christmas tree, so we kind of figured let's do a little plate. Okay, oh, look at that. These were made with the Texpert to get super glossy, and obviously it's very glossy. A lot of that has to do with the mold, but this resin is super glossy one way or the other. Okay. Next, we have a duck. This is a cute little guy. I'm not sure if we'll make a keychain out of him or if he will just be a standalone duck. We have a big duck. All right, that is very cute. Obviously nice and glossy. I don't see any bubbles at all. Okay, very nice. Okay, this is an angel, and I have some overpour, so I'm gonna have to use my clippers afterwards to clip that overpour off, and then we will sand and kind of get that down to actually look a little nicer. Okay, it's kind of a classic cherub look, but I really like the color. It's seashell, and what did she tell me this was? It was some sort of metallic beige that we put in here. And it really came out looking very pretty. Now with the epoxy resin, this is still a little soft. Well, not soft, but it is not at its full hardness. That will take just a little while to get to, especially with these smaller pieces. And I will go back through with either a deburring tool or a rotary tool and clean this up some more. There it went flying. Speaking of going flying, as I was getting ready this morning, I needed to get some light in here because our den is a little bit dark, so too dark for video. And I was pulling out an extension cord, and I didn't know that it was wrapped around a vase, a tall vase that my wife had bought, and 5:30 in the morning, we've got crashing glass all over the floor. It was kind of a problem, but yeah, I cleaned it up and not much to be done about it. Anyway, it's very pretty little cherub. We've made a couple of these in gold we've had some interest in them. Had somebody buy a couple of them. Alright, for the last of the demolding, we have an event coming up. It is called the it's called the Merry Market. It's at an alpaca farm. And I thought, what an interesting way to maybe boost some sales and go ahead and advertise a little bit for the event before it happens. So I bought this little alpaca mold. He's about 4 inches tall. Actually, I've got one over here that I've already finished. I'll put them next to each other once I'm done with this demold. Hopefully everything is in the camera view. I have not set up like this before. I think I'm good. I don't think I've done a demolding video before, but everybody tells me this is what I need to be doing, so it's 6 a.m. I'm demolding resin. I probably would be doing this anyway, just because that's what I do. First thing in the morning, usually. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. Here's our little alpaca friend. He's very pretty. One thing I did notice about them, alpacas are known for their soft, woolly hair, and that kind of comes out in the mold, their hair, but you know, that kind of thing doesn't translate over very well to resin, and so it's almost like they're crystalline in their coat, and so they're a little bit rough. But he's cute, and I have a little friend for him that I made the other day. All right, so those are the ones I've got to demold. Wanted to showcase some of the things that my wife and I had done recently. This past weekend. Autism awareness is important to us. We have connections to our family, so we have tried to do some autism awareness things. And one of the things we did, we bought this heart mold, and we used a mixture of UV resin for the colors and epoxy resin for the background. Those of us that actually do UV resin or epoxy resin know what a nightmare it would be to do epoxy in these little bitty areas and then come back over it with more epoxy and all the different colors. It would take forever. So we mixed the two different medias together. Well, they're not that different, but to create this autism awareness heart. It's about 1 inch wide, and unfortunately, coming out of the mold, it tore the mold and attached itself to the piece. So we're gonna have to get a new mold. But that is something that we really like. One of the things that we have trouble keeping in stock are these stone skulls. They are skulls, well, basically filled with stone, but they're stones from my area. And I worked really hard on this one to make it with very, very few bubbles. And I was overall very successful on that. You can see a very minimal bubble here, maybe a few on the bottom, but overall there are very few bubbles, and they just turn out really cool. All right, and second to last thing I want to show, and then I want to talk about something that I have made in the past that I'm going to have to fix. I made these little Christmas trees, just a simple little mold. They're really neat. Gonna be attaching a little candle to the bottom. I'm not sure if it's going to be this one or if it's going to be one that's a solid light. Well, I'd say it's probably not going to be this one. And that serves me for not checking the batteries before I went on video. Anyway, these are my little Christmas trees. They're very pretty, and they'll be just a nice decoration with an electronic tea light. I have some batteries I'm going to have to replace that with. Alright, now for my last thing. I had a little accident, and as I was setting up at a vendor booth last week, this guy, he fell, and well, had a little wire problem. So now I have to revamp my soldering skills and put him back together. Unfortunately, his little controller broke, so I had to take a controller out of a a different set of fairy lights so that I could have the parts to put him back together, and so that I was certain that I could get everything back in the right place. But he will be back to 100% sometime soon. The nice thing about epoxy resin is it is extremely durable, so if you drop it, it's likely not going to break. Well, the plastic will, but the epoxy part will not. In fact, I can't even tell where this hit the ground. I was going to try to polish it, but I'm not sure I really see where it needs to be polished. So, anyway, that is my video for the morning. Now I guess I get to get up and, well, not get up because I'm already up. I get to go take a shower and get ready for my real job. Unless you want to start buying some of my things and make it where I can retire and do this full time, you're welcome to do that. Thank you for watching.